Last day of 2023 and last day of racing for 2023. We welcome Dave Rodman to the show this morning today at the races. Thanks for wrapping up 2023 with us, Dave.
There you go. It's the final day of the year.
It is.
I want to thank everyone for supporting Maryland racing.
Of
really.
course, yes.
I mean, the handle has been very, very strong here, especially the last 3 months of the year.
Yes.
I think very strong. So people embracing some bigger fields. Though no turf, we'll have to wait till spring for that. The big fields keep on coming on the dirt, and competitive races like today's opener.
I was just going to say, today overall was a bit of a tricky card for a number of the races that we have going on. While I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but do you have any top 2023 racing memories here in Maryland?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yes.
Yes, the Remington Park Derby when I hit the big 40-1 shot.
Oh my God! Okay, anything in Maryland racing?
Well,
congratulations, by the way.
That actually was going to be really the highlight of the year. Was the fact that the fans really flocked to the signal and wagering, and of course, Preakness Week's always a big memory with the stakes and Brittany Russell with a big breakthrough year. Competitiveness of the jockey and trainer colony. Those are the big highlights of 2023 in Maryland. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the jockey and trainer titles coming down to the final day of the year ever since I've been here.
Right.
Both of them.
Both of them. It's super exciting. We're going to get to that just at the wrap-up at the end of the show. Wanted to remind you that we have some mandatory payouts here today in our pools, but let's get down to business. Let's take a look outside, see what we've got going on. Dave, as per usual, kind of yesterday, a little bit more sunny yesterday. We had a little bit of blustering winds, a little bit overcast. The skies have opened up for the finale here for 2023. Yeah,
nice little sunshine there and perfect weather, really, for this time of year. Can't ask for more. And I still see in the 7 to 10 day forecast just maybe some snow showers in the forecast, but none of the heavy white stuff yet. So turf course almost looks getting ready to pop green again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see if we can maybe get some turf early for 2024. But we have all dirt today for this last day of 2023 with the early pick 5. That starts with a race in this claiming $25,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going 1 mile and 16th on the dirt. Scratch the 11 Uncaptured Storm. Dave, you have the number 4 on top in Hippodrome for Raymond Ginter Jr. Louis Batista, of course, Raymond Ginter Jr. winning one of the stakes yesterday in the heft.
What a way to start the day with this race. If it were a mile, I think it might be a little easier to decipher. It's 1 mile and 16, 2 turns, and Callie, it looks like we have speed aplenty in here with Victim of the Night, your top pick. Running Rivers first off the claim for Kieran McGee. This horse has really kind of turned around on the dirt since adding the blinkers. 2 of his last 3, 2 wins with the blinkers on the dirt in gate-to-wire fashion. Though at the 1-turn mile, the pace ought to be lively in the spot. No easy days on the outside, probably no option but to go as well. So I'm going to pick a little bit of a long shot here in Hippodrome, the Ray Ginter barn. I thought ran behind Victim of the Night and Grand Pick last time they met here on the 1-turn mile. As a ghost zapper, you're going to like the distance, and I tell you, he's got a back number to win the race, and last time out, he chased Victim of the Night out much of the trip. He chased in the second flight on the outside, was 3 wide on the turn, gave that chase. Grand Pick came to grab him for second, but I thought a pretty good race. But Luis Batista takes them out here for Ray Ginter. That's kind of been a recent combination, jockey-trainer combination. He's only ridden like 5 horses for him since November with a win. So I think he's going to be a square price, and I'm going to use him. I picked him on top, but I think he could be a danger underneath as well. And he's kind of a use in the exact underneath, even if you do like the 2 Victim of the Night, right?
Okay, yes, there we have it. Victim of the Night, of course, with Mikey Jarrell, J-Ron Barbosa. Barbosa second in the year standings for the jock title, but just looking for that second win in a row. Going to the 2 turns today, I thought with what I saw last time out, if they can take that same approach, I don't have a problem with the 2 turns here today. Jimmy Creed 15% with his second-time routers.
He was actually on the lead last time out. Look at his lines. Hopped, awkward start, broke in the air, unseated the rider to start, in close start, step slow, off step slow, poor start,
But
step
he's
slow.
gotten it together, Dave.
He got it together last out. Can he do it again, especially with the speed of Running River in the race? So
Right.
he's a long river gelding. Again, as we mentioned, since the blinkers, kind of a turnaround on the dirt. His sire, Long River, 1.25 miles was no problem for him. So I think he's going to like the 2 turns. Who's faster? Running River, Victim of the Night. I think Running River might take that speed a long way. First off the claim for Kieran McGee, always a strong stat and something to watch. And what happened to Hay Chief last time out? I picked him on the show. That was quite embarrassing, Callie. I think I was on with you that day.
Yep.
He did no running for the back of the pack, but the track was sloppy. I know he's run okay on an off track before, but maybe that particular day on that kind of slop against that field and a very sharp Martini Martin, he didn't have it together. But Rudy Salomon drops him in here at the $25,000. He's going to have some speed to run at too. His back race at Delaware back at October 19th, where he rallied nicely from off the pace to win, would do in this spot.
There we have it, 4-5-3-1 for Dave Rodman in the kickoff for today's racing. Let's talk about the second race. Also starts your early pick 4. Thanks for making us one here for the last day. Let's see what you got going for your ticket.
Yeah, a $30 ticket. I almost made it shorter because I do like Hide Right Away. I almost singled that horse, but we're going a little deeper here in the first leg. If Joya Del Sur wins, I'm out.
Okay,
so
fair.
4, 6, 7 in the second race, the first leg, 4 and 6 in the third race. Going to use that first-time Brittany Russell horse, but like the first-time gelding in there, Meta Gooch. And then the fourth race, Hide Right Away. A lot of reasons to like him today, pace-wise. And in the fifth race, I don't know. I mean, I picked 4 horses in there like we all do on the show, but
Sure.
I used 5.
Sure.
So hopefully I have the right one in the mix. 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8 with a 50-cent pick 4. Could be something, could be nothing.
Could be. We'll find out in about a little bit more than 55 minutes, maybe about an hour and a half for Dave Rodman's early pick 4 ticket start off. And it starts in the starter optional 12-5, going a mile on the dirt for the girls 3 and up. No scratches here. We have an 8-5. I almost put Joya Del Sur 4th as well, but you and I end up going with True Blue Pearl for Hugh McMahon. J. Ron Barbosa, let's roll back on that tape from that last effort out. First time in the barn for Hugh.
All right, yeah. She beat Joya Del Sur. She beat Daily Planet. 2 of the fillies she's got to face this afternoon. Did it with a nice style, right off the early pace. Joya Del Sur there is the 2 horse, kind of slipping back third on the inside. Esperana kind of kept a company and busy up front in a solid pace. But here is circling on the outside, True Blue Pearl in the purple silks. It was first off the claim for Hugh McMahon. Second off the claim for Hugh McMahon after a win. They tend to win right back. Now they'll use positive ROI, but then again, you would expect that from a barn that runs sharp horses like that, and especially if they've won, they get a little more place second time out. But they tend to keep their form for a couple of races if they're sharp enough to win first off the claim. And I just had to go back to her today. Not going to be much of a price in here.
Right.
But we have the first 2 the same. Red Wine Time, I guess we're thinking maybe one speed or close to the pace. The other
Right.
one's a closer.
Yep.
But Red Wine Time, something of a project like Victim of the Night, is always kind of a project at the starting gate. Never wants to go in. They've got to load the horse first. I believe they're loading
Right.
from the front now with Red Wine Time. And
Okay.
she seems to have kind of put it together her last 2 or 3 races. And, don't look for her early. She's a really laggard in the early stages of the race. But going the 1-turn mile, and she ran well here at Laurel last time out behind Northern Glow and put together back-to-back at Delaware. So a kind of a project filly here. Joya Del Sur, sure to be part of the early pace again today. I thought she was kind of victim of not a victim, but a benefactor of some easy trips in a lot of her better races. So, she could win, but in my pick 4, maybe to get a nice price early or a little better
Yep.
price early, I use the 7 and the 6 ahead of her. 4, 7, 6, 8.
Race number 3 is a maiden claiming 30,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the straight 2-year-old Scratch. The coupled entry 1A had to have him. Keith or Dave, sorry, you go with the number 6
Metagooch.
Metagooch for Robbie Bales. Third
Yeah.
time starter with J-Ron Barbosa
Yeah.
now.
This guy caught my eye. First time out when he ran behind Shoe Steve. This is good. Eldivino Nino, who did not win next out, but came back to win yesterday here at Laurel Park. Loomed like a winner at about the 8th pole. I thought he really was going to win and kind of lingered late. Second time out, caught a speed day where one-way traffic went wire to wire. In fact, 8 of 9 winners that day on November 24th were gate to wire here at Laurel Park. It's first time gelding for Robbie Bale, thanks to Equibase Stats Race Lens. First time gelding for Robbie Bale in the last 5 years. Strong, positive ROI, and 6 for 31. All right, so here we go. First change of equipment, so to speak, for Metagooch or Robbie Bales. Always a positive, and I really went back to this horse because of his debut and the strong gelding stat. But point doom, first time Brittany Russell. Right?
So there we go. And of course, coming from the Baffert barn, that always kind of bodes a little bit better for Brittany with some of these stringed horses that she gets in. Of course, now she's been in the barn with Brittany for at least the most of December. 2 bullet works to include upon that time within Brittany's barn is a great indicator as well.
He's got some gas, that's for sure. The concern to me is that race 2 back, where he was on the lead in 22-2, and the big favorite in the race was Miramati, who was 3-5 in there. A 50-1 won it. A 10-1 was second in the race. So there goes that form right out the window. But he was on the lead and tried to bear out a little bit down the back stretch. It looked like he almost tried to pull himself up, almost like he shied from something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, that was then, and this is now. He's in a new barn, and of course they paid a lot of money for him. Into Mischief, Malibu Moon Mare could be a big turnaround today, especially he's got some works over this surface as well. But he's going to be a shorter price, I think, than Metagooch today. So I'm going to use I'm going to use the higher price there on top. 9, Buck and Dreamer. Here's a horse that owes me a little bit of money. The debut at Timonium, picked him that day on the show, I remember, and it was a disaster. He broke through the starting gate right before the race, was unruly, and broke through the gate. Then he tried to, I don't know what he was doing down the backstretch, pinched early, and then he had trouble down the backstretch, and then it was basically all over from there. You can't make up ground going a half mile. Came back to run third behind a big long shot. Nancy Made My Day, but One Way Farrier came out of that race to win. A beaten favorite last time out, but that race has produced a winner. Whiskey on the Jarro came back with a 50 buyer figure in a recent win as well. So not going to give up here on Buck and Dreamer in that race. We do have a rider change there. It is Angel Cruz on Buck and Dreamer, and scratch the 1A. Had to have him from the third race.
There we have it. Dave Rodman goes 6-4-9-1 there in race number 3. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's go ahead and take a look at my ticket. Get a little bit, actually, at first I got a little bit more expensive, a little bit more reasonable at $25.60, but I go 4 deep in races 4 and 7. So race 5 you go wide, I go a little bit shorter on that, although I do see it very similar to you. It is a little bit of a head scratcher, that race, and that starter optional in the 5th. Starting off the late pick 5. Race number 6 is that Jackpot Super High 5. It also kicks off the late pick 4. I go with the 1 and 11. Of course, I'm singling in on Murray. And race number 9, I go 2 deep. We'll dive into this ticket a little bit more on the afternoon show, but a $25.60 ticket there for the Rainbow Pick 6, claiming 25 for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 2, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Dave, you have the number 3, Hide Right Away, your best bet of the day for Raymond Ginter Jr. and J-Ron Barbosa.
All right, he was on the turf last time out, tossed that effort. Loved that race from August 5th from Hide Right Away. He finished 5th, prompted the pace, a strong pace, 46. That was a hot half mile, as good as Al Loves Josie later in the day, who's a multiple stakes placed sprinter. I thought he would be on the lead that day, but Sweet Shugs had some ideas. He's pretty quick too, and kind of ran with him, and they really went at it in a big way. Again, a very quick pace for non-winners at 2 compared to multiple stakes winner Al Loves Josie and a race later in the day. I think with Barbosa aboard and a good break from the gate, the party might be over here. He's got some early speed to take them all the way. Almost singled them, But I went to your horse here and did a little extra digging with Divine Romance. Almost didn't have him in the mix,
Oh,
Callie,
really?
but
Okay.
Tritone Gal, right there
Yes.
behind Tritone Gal, ran big yesterday.
Yes.
Here at Laurel Park. I think that she's an improving filly. 3 races back in the maiden 30 win. Actually showed some early speed. It doesn't really indicate on paper, but if you look at the race, showed some early speed. Rosado took her back, settled, then was taken outside to rally to win going away. Race 2 back could not make the lead on a very, very speed-heavy rail day. And the race won by Bon Diva. Tritone Gal was in that race too, and ran better last time out in the slop. Now back to a fast track. Kind of an improving sneaky filly in here in Divine Romance.
You also have Classy Nancy underneath and the number 6 as well in 5,2, but which I have in the mix as well. But Classy Nancy on the outside for Jamie Ness and Jamie Rodriguez.
Out of the Tritone Gal race as well, but a tough go. We're on the far outside here. I don't believe, nope, no scratches, so definitely
Nope.
way out there. Parked outside in a post position, going 6th. That doesn't have a big win percentage, but only 12 or 13 starters from way out there. I mean, I can kind of see her. The second race off the layoff. It's 3rd time Lasix. She swung even farther out than the 3 or 4 path she was in around the turn last time out and kind of faltered. Got a little play in the race. But the back effort at Delaware back November in a non-winners of 2 going long is good enough to compete in this spot. What kind of trip, though, from that far outside?
Exactly, which is why I kind of left that one off my ticket, but I can completely understand where you're coming from in that as you go 3, 5, 11, 6 in race number 4. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5. This is a head scratcher, as we discussed, of a race in the starter optional 12-5, going a mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the 10, Nepotism. You and I get a little similar, but you ultimately land on the 3 and Bobby G. Of course, for now in the barn of Mikey Gorham and Raul Mena coming over from Aqueduct that last time out.
Nepotism won yesterday, Mahoning Valley,
Yep.
so they're not
There
running
we
back
have it.
today. So yeah, I guess the 2 horses. Let's talk about 2 clubmen first. With all that back class, 17 wins, more than $600,000 to $75,000 in earnings, can certainly win. Bobby G and clubmen have had their matches together in the past. Trainer Michael Gorham broke a bit of a drought yesterday with a 17-1 winner.
Yes, that was good.
To a set in the opener.
Yep.
So maybe the Gorham barn is ready to turn it around here. He's got a 9-year-old. It's won 17 times, 14 wins here at Laurel. Of those 14 wins, Callie, and I looked at the distance, 1 mile. I said, this horse likes a mile, doesn't he? You go back, you count the wins. He's got 7 wins out of 14 wins here at Laurel Park at this 1-turn mile.
Okay, there we have it for Dave Rodman on that particular horse.
Bobby G.
My Bobby G, of course. Let's talk about the number 8 because I had it up, mixed it up in my picks that I had written down for you a little bit. But Maximum Impact, Raymond Ginter Jr. again, J-Ron Barbosa comes from that effort in that starter optional from that 1-turn mile. So we go from the 1-turn. We stay at the 1-turn here today, but maybe gets a little bit of help here.
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of horse that's a little bit sneaky in here. He may not be as fast as some of the others, but he does have a couple of races. The Churchill race at 1 1/8 that figured to me, and believe it or not, the Mountaineer race came back big on my numbers. So he's won at Laurel, very consistent over this track. And Clubmen's beaten him, but that was behind Uncaptured Storm. I thought in a little tougher field 3 races back. He's kind of horse that's a little bit sneaky. If he can get over, save some ground, he can make a little bit of an impact late, especially at the 1-turn mile, right?
Yep.
Mountaineer, he did the mile and finished second there in closing. So he'll be far back, but the kind of a horse with a late impact on the scene. And there was other horse up against it. In here from the David Mohan barn, caught the likes of very strong Ace 9-9 in 2 races in a row, but 3 back, 1 over this Laurel strip at 1 mile and 1/8. And he's got some back class. He's beaten better horses before in the past, and he's the kind of horse that won't be as far back as Maximum Impact. So I used him in that final leg of the pick 4. And I was talking to Dan Illman last night after the races. He kind of liked working on a dream.
He did,
From the Robin Graham barn. Just going to toss that in there in case you want to go
Why not?
6 deep.
Why not? Absolutely. You do end up going 5 deep in your leg on your early pick 4, but you ultimately end up with your top 4 in 3827 for race number 5, and we'll be right back after this commercial for the rest of the last 2023 card.
Thoroughbred racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Safety first here in MJC Racing. Let's get back to business, though. In this Jackpot Super High 5 also starts the late pick 4 in this maiden claiming 12.5, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. No scratches here, Dave, but you go with Cookie Bank as your top selection here with Lacey Gaudette, Thais Pustina, and we're going to take it back to the 30th of July earlier this year in the barn of Alan Beddard.
Yeah, here you go. Cookie Bank. I know it's a long time ago. It was a debut run, summer of last year for maiden $30,000. Bumped at the start, 3 deep mustered the trip, but finished with some good interest on the outside in debut. Put the horse on stable mail to kind of watch, and hadn't done much in the last 3-4 starts. In fact, pulled up. Last time we saw him at Laurel on the turf. So I saw her on Laurel on the turf. Back to the main track today in a barn switch to one of the hottest barns around. Lacey Gaudette barn. The last 30 days, they're 9 for 21, 43%, a positive ROA of $5.16, starting from square A, dropping for 12.5, sprinting on the dirt. Against this field, I think so. I'll try it at a price. Cookie Bank there. A good magic filly in the 6th race. See, 11 Spoils of War comes off a good race behind a long shot, Catch the Kitten, which had a little bit of trouble in the race. I didn't really like the finish of that race, so they were just kind of all going up and down the stretch, and here comes Catch the Kitten in the last jump to beat them. But she was shuffled back a little bit down the back stretch, lost her position, and kept on fighting as a willing 4th there, going 5.5, going 6 today. Ran okay on the grass, so they're trying to get her to transfer some of that talent from the turf to the dirt, and ran okay with some trouble last time out. There, Carrasco has the Mount 10 Pumpkin, is turning kind of a follower for me. But, you know, maybe underneath. In the 6 in here, Preakness Party, a little shout out to Bill Brasimal upstairs. I think of Echo Base, he likes this horse a little bit. And our man Dan Coughlin from Nebraska, who did the notes that day, he said that was the horse broke slow, outward, was green, then was way behind as the leader got to the 3/16 pole at upper stretch. This horse was just passing the quarter pole, or near the quarter pole.
Oh my gosh.
And you really have to look at the head-on to understand how much ground she kind of made up through the stretch. Finished with interest. The race was slow. It was a sloppy track, but she could be joining the party late in here in Preakness Party, especially with that awkward beginning last time out. Maybe she didn't like the track at all last time out, right? It's his first time on the fast track, so you got to almost consider her a first-time starter in here.
Okay, let's give her the benefit of the doubt here for Dave Rodman as he goes 5, 11, 10, 6 in race number 6, of course. Mandatory payouts, the Jackpot Super High 5 being one of them. Race number 7 is a starter optional $20,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. For the girls 3 and up, scratch in the 3, Bella Prima, and you have Dulcimer Dame, of course, for Anthony Ferrier, JVN Toledo, coming over from Charlestown back here to Laurel Park.
7 wins last year, went on a tear at Charlestown the early part of 2023 from January to March. Big win streak going there. I think this mare is good enough to try Laurel now. And it's the first start at Laurel, so you don't know how she's going to do, but I'll tell you what, in my numbers, I have her like above par in 9 of her last 12 races at Charlestown. So anytime she's going to step up, it's going to be today here at Laurel Park. Toledo gets the mount for Ferrier. I think very dangerous in here, Dulcimer Dame, but more of an open race. Mama G's Wish. We'll show you some video of that horse. 2 races back, November the 4th. Behind the very fast Poggi Bonsi, who was disqualified. The runner-up there, Beneath the Stars. Here's Mama G's Wish in the familiar red cap there. there, the green sleeves down inside. Looks like she got a little bit of run, right?
It's just kind of waiting. Just Xavier's just kind of taking his time. I mean, he's three back, and then just kind of seeing. He just kind of spent most of that time assessing, just seeing what he could get open. So finally, he kept just giving the field a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Finally got this filly in the clear, and once she did, she's not going to have any flashy turn of foot, but as long as she's not encumbered, which she wasn't once he got her clear, then she's gonna be able to certainly make a presence. And like I said, against that field, a bit of a cleaner go. That seems to be what she needed. Next time out at 7 furlongs. Hey, also may have not been. She's won at the distance before. Does she quite love the distance? That still is to be sure, because last time out they asked her early, I believe, but maybe just bounced, I think, from that effort.
5-time winner at Laurel. I think a lot of that was the fact that Continental Congress is sharp.
Right.
And I think it was more of like an inside tilt day, and she was outside that day. So I got to forgive that last race for her.
Okay.
I mean, you're beaten 5 lengths by Intrepid Dream, I know, in the Shine Again. That might be good enough to get it done here today. So, yeah, certainly a chance in here. How about Watch Your Tone, your top pick? The Hot Lacey got at barn. We mentioned the stat. Had a great trip last time out for the win. I can foresee another good trip today.
Rolling on the bandwagon for me, absolutely.
Yep, and 9 in here. Moon Safe kind of threw that horse in a little bit. 7 times third at Laurel from 14 tries.
Yep.
It's a ratio Caramonis aboard. Jockey change there. Those 69 to 74 type buyers, if she can repeat those from way back in 2023 in the form you see 7 or 8 back, and that could do in the spot for a share. This doesn't seem to like to win. She's more of like an exacto or try type horse. 7 seconds, 10 thirds, right?
She's an honorable mention, that's for sure. Here is Dave goes for 11-2-9 in race number 7. Penultimate race of the year is going to be race number 8 in an allowance optional claiming 55, going a mile on the dirt. Big distance of the day today for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the 9 Vance Scholars, the 10 Boss Logic, the 11 Laughing Boy. Dave, you and I end up going on Murray. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last effort. Going 3/4 of a mile. We get a stretch out for the first time today in the Brittany Russell barn.
Yeah, Murray's one of those Baffert to East Coast horses. Michael W. Elstone Group and others there. And there with a nice 4-deep bid. Murray.
And Titletown, too. Titletown Racing.
And Titletown Racing.
For the Packers.
I saw the T. I couldn't on my form. It was somebody.
It's all good.
I don't know what silks the horse will be wearing today, but we know this is a sharp effort, right?
Yes.
And seemingly improving a little bit here. Sprinting, can the horse get a mile? I think so. Yeah, by street sense out of a Tisdale mare. It's kind of rolling along, kept about business. Sheldon Russell, a little tap to make so you could put away the stick and then look back and pose for the picture there.
Exactly, pretty much.
So Murray, the stretch out to the mile shouldn't be a problem. Now looking for an exacta in this race. Who could it be now? Well, Market Maven's kind of the master of the obvious, right?
Sure.
Behind King Kumbele, disqualified in the Maryland Million Classic, was on the dead rail 3 back at Parks, but also looking at the 4 in here, Outlier, kind of horse who's just grinding along. He was 3rd twice the last 2 or 3 starts behind Magic Michael, a sharp Jamie Ness runner, and with a good trip could easily be 2nd in this spot. So
absolutely.
1-5 exacta, probably not much, but a 1-4 exacta, might interest me a little bit here.
Okay.
And the 6 Joe. Oh, what's going on with Joe?
Yeah.
He's back on Lasix today. I don't know. He didn't have much excuse except that 7's 11 is really kind of a super sprint king right now here at Laurel Park, right?
Yes.
So we're going to excuse that race. I'm going to give Joe one more shot. After his last race, I said, nope. But now, maybe, back on Lasix today for the Trombetta barn, able to pick up a share in the spot.
And originally, I did have Joe underneath on my picks, but I just got a little intrigued by Feelin' Woozy for Hammy Smith underneath. The barn potentially is kind of on a really showy, gaudy performance last time out, so we'll see if they can do it again. But, again, maybe a bit of a need the lead type, but got to fighting a little bit back on the 19th of October. So I said, hey, Hammy gave us a couple of nice prices throughout the last couple of weeks, so maybe potentially here underneath for Feelin' Woozy.
Likely to try the same tack today, right? It worked last time out. And that was the Speed King of the World day. So I know he won by, what did he win by? 11. Who knows how much the Speed King of the World day carried him that day.
Yes.
Would have been a 5-length win without Speed King of the day.
Right.
But it was a good effort, and he's sharp, and he's got some early foot, too.
And there we have it. Dave Rodman 1-5-4-6, keying in around Murray in race number 8, our feature race in the last day of 2023. And then our 2023 finale. Here we go. A claiming $25,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2. 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the 1 lost weekend. Let's take a look at your number 5. And Katie's notion for Carlos Mencia, Johan Rosado, and you got a special stat for us to wrap things up.
Well, you've got Heaven's Got Fire coming off a 549-day layoff. The Big Enchilada scored last time out with blinkers on. Midnight Renegade, I picked him last time out, and well, he did no running at all. A little bit of excuse last time out. Good Time to Be Irish, certainly with a shot in here. That's Boxing Ben has some early speed. Porch Swing hasn't run back to his races back in May. I just took a shot here with Katie's notion and the stat for trainer Carlos Mencia. 180-plus day layoff. For Carlos Mencia, very, very strong indeed. A 22% positive return on investment. He's won with horses like Factor It In, Lambeau Lady, Ridgemont High, and this horse is won off a time away from the races.
Yes.
So, you know, Katie's notion can win after time away. Barn does well with time away. Career year for Carlos Mencia Barn. I think 41 wins already this year. Hoping to cap off 2023 with another feather in the cap here. Career best year from one of the hot barns here in Maryland. The 6 is Good Time to Be Irish.
Yes, and we do have a video spotlight on that from the race 1 back in that state bred allowance for Phil Schoenthal, and Angel Cruz retains the ride. Tough enough go on the rail
This
there.
is December 1st, last start, and who is the winner? Rominsky. We know how good Rominsky is right now. 22-1, 45-4. As Rominsky, the 3-horse in here, has good early speed, and here is Good Time to Be Irish battling with him through good fractions in the early stages. It was a speed all day kind of day here at Laurel Park on December 1st. He faded a little bit off the seam, but you got to think about who he ran against here. Rominsky, who came back to win after that, I believe it looked like a bigger buyer number than it was, came back at 85, but nevertheless a real strong strong horse at this stage of his career. So what else do we have here? The 4?
Yes, we do. Midnight Renegade, you mentioned.
Yeah, we won't rehash those torn up
Porch
tickets
Swing.
last time out.
Yes.
But did have an excuse with Sandwich at the start. If he's ever going to do it, today he's going to have plenty of speed in front of him for a good rally from off the pace, and that is Jamie Rodriguez fighting the rider's title, who gets the mount now as jockey change on Midnight Renegade. You went to the 7 in here, Boxing Ben, and he's sure to be part of the early pace, I would think, right?
Yeah, and I liked what I saw visually last time out. I'm a big visual gal, so you just take that cut back in distance from last time out. I think this one just fits the bill here, along all strikes on the board. So it really just getting back to that better situation. I liked what I saw in that first time against winners, going against the grain of what his normal pattern is. Got back to that better style last time out, was just a tick too long.
It chased the pace and the 2-path. It was kind of a rail day. Barron's Legacy rode the rail and went on to win that day. I thought he'd make the lead that day to Barron's Legacy, but it just didn't happen, you know? So,
it happens.
He's near the pace for sure in this scenario here, with that field of 7, scratch 1, lost weekend out of the 9th race.
There we have it, 5, 6, 4, 8 for Dave Rodman in the last race of 2023. Let's dive into those a little bit in the lightning round. Dave, let's talk about your best bet of the day in race number 4 for Hyde Right Away, J-Ron Barbosa and Raymond Ginter Jr.
Well, 2 back, again, the strong fractions, hot half mile, equal to Al Loves Josie, multiple stakes place sprinter who won later in the day. I know it was a short field, but Al Loves Josie. I mean, how fast is he when he's right? So I project him to be on the lead, and if he's not, then maybe the best bet goes right away.
And there we go. Let's talk. Then you have a value play to back up in case that doesn't pan out in race 6 for Lacey Gaudette with Thais Laipustina in Cookie Bank in the 5-horse.
Starting from square one with this filly, back to sprinting on the dirt after some issues. dropping to 12.5 last 30 days. Lacey Gaudet Barn, do we need to say it again? 43% and a positive ROA, $5.16. And they're hoping to end the year with a few more winners to boot. So that's the plays of the day for me, at least the top two.
Let's talk about what kind of we're all really paying attention to on this last day, down to the wire, between Brittany Russell and Jamie Ness. Of course, Brittany Russell leading Jamie Ness overall for the year, 117 to 113. Jamie Ness is 113. So while Brittany has 2, just doing a quick count, Jamie has about 6 or 7 today. So we'll know for the year, as far as the year standing, by about race 3 or race 4, if that's going to be a possibility at all. But then, like I said, tied today, we have Brittany with 2, Jamie with at least 4 to 5. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I don't recall ever seeing the jockey trainer standings I mentioned earlier in the show this tight at the end of any meet here at Laurel Park in my years.
I agree. This is so exciting, and what makes it even more exciting is that not only are the trainers tied, but the jocks are tied as well. 49 to 49 for Toledo. Rodriguez, you just mentioned, it was going to be both of them. Let's see. Jamie Rodriguez is out in the second. So they both ride in 8 races. Toledo is in every race from 1 through 8. And Rodriguez is in every race from 1 through 9, save for the second race. So I feel like that's potentially, I'm not going to say one is more exciting than the other, but wow, what 2 great jocks to kind of lead and be in a tied position.
Everyone you see there in the top 5 on the board has really had a reason to celebrate this year.
Yes.
And the same thing with the trainers as well. Rudy Solomon on the trainer side, you know how hot that barn has been as well. And Geron Barbosa, just when you least expect it, yesterday 8 to 1,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Right? Gate to wire there with Suisati J in the Hefstakes.
There we have it. And from myself and from everybody, thank you so much for being a part of the fun here with Maryland Racing for 2023. We are going to have a fun and exciting 2024 of racing, so that's what I'm looking forward to. But so grateful to be here with you, Dave, and to just have some fun, and let's have the fun continue.
Can I stay up till midnight? That's the question. I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I know you will, right?
I think I have plans to.
You do?
But I hope, like you said, you'll be resting up. You're getting ready. You're resting and you're getting ready for 2024.
Yeah, 2024
That's
is the year.
Eye on the prize.
I turned pickleball pro.
There we have it. There we have it for Dave Rodman here. And again, thank you guys so much. And I'm going to get offset so Dave can really finalize these last changes and scratches.
Good luck.